Hi, I'm Maggie,
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
a very bookish podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to a Very Bookish podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 8.
Today we are going to be talking about our TBRs for the year's new releases and also book releases that you guys are excited for that you talked about on our Instagram today. So I'm really excited for the books that are coming out this year. I don't know about you, Grace, but I have a whole list. I have like a whole page wrote out of like books that I'm ready for this year. I don't know if you did. My Goodreads has been updated.
My Goodreads has not been updated. I have a few releases that I'm excited about because I heard about them and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, most of my reads for this year are gonna be. I'm still playing catch up.
I feel that too. I I think I was saying this in like your live. I think yesterday I was like, I feel like I need to catch up from not reading in high school and in middle school. Like I read some books, but I was always reading like one or two books and I'd read them in a day and then I wouldn't keep going back to get more and more books. I would just read and then stop reading, but I would never consecutively read every single month like I'm doing now. And so I feel like I have to catch up so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got, we got back into reading and everything, but it's not there are so many good books out there that have been released in previous years that I haven't read. And I feel like I need to catch up on all like An Ember in the Ashes. Like the series is
Yeah.
already done.
Yeah.
And I have only read the first one. There are a lot of other series out there that I want to get through and finish. A lot of like duologies and standalones that have been released years ago and that I need to read now.
Yeah.
So that's why my releases for 2021, yes, there are like at least like a good maybe 9 of them that I'm really excited about. But most of my reads this year are going to be books that most people have
Yeah.
already.
Because I feel like that you have An Ember in the Ashes, and I read the whole series. I haven't read the last one because I'm waiting for you. But like I I definitely I read a lot of series. I did a lot of series reading last year, but now I'm kind of having to catch up on the series that have been releasing in the last couple years, and like the final books are coming out this year, or like a series that started last year from Blood and Ash and are still continuing on. So, but I feel like there's like the Shatter Me and Restore Me, those two trilogies. Like I read those all this month. I'm at 16 books this month. Um it's an impressive like I mean I really don't do anything. Like I'm off for a full week before I go back to school and like I literally don't do anything but read.
Yeah, you have the time.
I have the time because I put my goal to 50 this year. Just because I'm gonna be full-time student, whereas like I'm not in the summertime and I'm gonna have like an internship over the summer. So I'm really like focusing on like hitting 50. And if I read like 20 books this month, I think I'll hit that goal by June, July. So
Yeah, I have 50 books on my Goodreads too. And I kind of kept so I set my good read goal like for 50 last year. And keep in mind, I opened up my Goodreads again after like 9 years, and I opened it back up barely like in June. So that was, and I got to maybe like 42 books, maybe, or 38. And that was just like in 6 months. So I set my goal this year again for 50.
mm-hmm.
And I definitely think I'll get to it by like June again. But I also was just like, you know what? If I read that many, then I read that many. If I don't, then I don't. And I know a lot of people out there are like, you want big numbers. You want to
Yeah.
read like 20 books a month. You want to read, and it's just like
Is it feasible?
realistic. Yeah,
Yeah, is it
realistic.
feasible? Yeah, no. Did you for last year, did you add the books that you had previously read before you started your Goodreads goal for 2020, or did you just only add the books in once you went back? Because I added all the books that I had read before I started my Goodreads. I added all those in because I had like 60 books to add into that.
So I inputted, um, I started my Goodreads right about when I was reading Cruel Prince. And by then I had already read like the Akatar series, The Night Circus, and maybe another book in there. Or Throne of Glass, I think. Like the first one, I read it because I
Okay.
had the collector's edition. And I'm like, I'll read that. But I hadn't gone into the rest of the series, which I'm doing now.
Yes. Finally, she finished Assassin's Blade. I saw your Snapchat story after I went to bed and I saw it this morning, and sorry, I couldn't stop crying. Couldn't stop laughing. I was laughing so hard because I was in that same position. But just imagine me on my grandma's living room on a blow up mattress crying at 3 a.m. That was me.
No. Yep. I was crying a lot. I did a lot of videos. I did a time lapse video of me reading through that chapter. And the time lapse was like really short. So you don't really see the part that I'm really crying. And then like after I finished, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. And then I put my book down, my tablet down, and I'm like, gonna scroll through TikTok for a second, and then all of a sudden, like, I hear a song, and my soul just like was opened up, and floodgates just rushing water of tears just flowing, and I was like, no, this is not
Yeah.
it.
I felt that for what is it? Song of Achilles. I was crying throughout it, and then like it hit me after I like set down the book and started looking at fan art. Fan art will destroy your heart. Never look at fan art after because it destroys your heart. Like fan art, kudos to the authors, the artists.
Artists.
Kudos to the artists, but fuck readers. Cause like you're dead after you look at fan art. Um, Especially Song of Achilles fan art. Fan art is like it's
Yeah,
sad.
that's why I'm not ready to read that. And when I become a little more emotionally stable, than I will. Because if anybody, any listeners are on my private Snap story, I cry often. I tear up often. I mean, it could just be like a heart to heart conversation between two
Mm-hmm.
characters. And I'll feel that connection, and like my body will just like, my heart is just being tugged at. I don't know what it is. Like it's not even that like an emotional of a story. Like if I look at it from far away, but right then I'm feeling everything that these characters are going through. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll start crying and I just can't stop it. Now imagine if I read like an actual tragedy.
We'll just put you in a grave.
Man,
No, Song of Achilles is like a rite of passage for readers. I feel like every reader needs to read Song of Achilles because like that just breaks you. It just breaks your heart, and like you sit there after you've read it and you're like, why did I read this? Like, why? I'm even tearing up right now thinking about it because because you're just like, it's such a beautifully written piece. Like it is a beautifully, and I have Circe, like it's not like a duology, but it's like also goes along with it. And
like
so I need to read that. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, it's a rite of passage, I think, for readers. But
I'll
yeah,
cross the bridge when I get there. It's just like I don't see that bridge anywhere in my sight line yet. I need to become, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to interact with people, real life people, a little bit more to feel grounded somewhere. Because I
mhm.
feel like I'm all by myself. Well, I'm not all by myself. I have my family here, but it's not. I need some foothold in reality before I get sucked down that rabbit hole, so I could have
Yeah,
something to pull me back out. Because
yeah,
I'm too depressed to do that.
yeah. I feel that. So since we're talking about our what we've read in January, what are some of the releases that you're excited for in January? Um, I have a
It's just
couple.
This January? I don't think I
Yeah.
have any that are coming out in January.
A Vow So Bold and Deadly.
Besides about So Bold and Deadly, I don't think there's anything else.
I think
Wings of Ebony.
yes. I also have Winter Keep, which is a part of the Graceling realm. It's the fourth book. It's the fourth installment. And then I also We Free the Stars. That just came out this Tuesday. It was released. So I still need to go to Barnes and Noble and pick that up because I have a book being shipped to store, so I need to go buy it and then say goodbye to all my coworkers before I leave.
I know.
Um, I know it was really sad leaving, and I was like, oh, my heart. I'll miss you guys. Everybody was asking, like, Maggie, you coming back in the summer? Like, you coming back in the summer? And I'm like, maybe I will. So I'm excited.
That's cute though.
I know it was like managers.
People. Yeah.
Yeah, managers were asking me like, "Hey, are you coming back in the summer?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know why," because they're like, "We're losing like, because I'm the YA specialist," is what they like to say, and so they're like, "We're literally like losing our YA specialists," because they will literally ask me like, "Hey, can you give a book recommendation to this person? Like, they're looking for like their daughter or like their son. They're looking for a YA title. Here you go." Or like so many people ask for like From Blood and Ash or A Touch of Darkness, and I'm like, I'm sorry, we don't sell that. They self-publish. They don't sell in Barnes and Noble except hardcover copies for From Blood and Ash, and we can't even ship those to our store, so you can't get them from us.
Yeah.
Which sucks because we really don't like to tell people to go shop from Amazon because Amazon really is a shitty company to their employees and stuff. But sometimes that's the only place you can get certain books from authors is Amazon, which sucks, but also it's just a way of life that is right now.
Right now.
So February is a big month, I think, for the book community because A Court of Silver Flames comes out.
Court of Silver Flames.
And I'm honestly so excited because we're going to do a podcast episode for it.
It comes out on the 16th, I think.
Yeah.
There's another book that I saw and
Mm-hmm.
I am interested in it. I don't really know much about it, but it's called We Are the Fire by Sam Taylor.
Oh.
And it's described like an ember in the ashes with fire magic, twisted alchemy, and ash gray morals.
Wait. Oh my gosh, that's actually pretty cool. Also Lore was released this year. Lore, I have that book. I think I'm getting it in Fairy Loot as well. So I actually will I haven't read my copy, so I'll probably do a giveaway on TikTok. So look out for that. I'll do a 2K giveaway because I did a 1K, so I'll do a 2K and just, just putting it out there. Or we'll do another giveaway for Instagram. I'll do a giveaway on Instagram or something. But okay, so we have Pushing You Away. I don't know where I wrote this down. It's called Pushing You Away, but I don't know who the author is. I just have it on my thing and it says Pushing You Away. And I'm like, I don't know what book this is. I'm looking it up real quick on Goodreads.
Probably should have done this before, but you know.
Yeah. Oh, this is.
We do things on.
I realized that's a Kennedy Fox book, so I should have guessed that. It's such a Kennedy Fox title. I love Kennedy Fox, as you can tell. The authors and I are friends on TikTok. Is one of my greatest accomplishments as a romance reader. Is that Kennedy Fox. Lyra and Brooke I'm friends with them on TikTok, and I'm just like, oh, thank you for noticing me, because I was like,
I hear their names, I'm just like, dang, Maggie and I need to come up with their name too.
Yeah, are we gonna write under a pen name?
Are we?
We'll decide. We'll decide at our next meeting.
We'll have listeners say that. If you can comment down below if Maggie and I should write our book under a pen name or should we publish under our own names.
Yeah, because like for Aurora Rising, Jay and they do both their names. Who else? Master of One. They did both their names.
Mhm.
But Kennedy Fox does do that. But that's a Kennedy Fox book, is Pushing You Away. That's adult 18 plus book. I'll be 20 by then, so I think I'll be in the clear to read that. Okay, so March 2021 is a big year. A lot of releases are happening in March. Some of the ones that I wrote down are Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the King of Scars
Mhm.
trilogy. It's a trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it was originally a duology, and then it came out that there was going to be a third one.
Yeah. So we have Namesake next. Oh, I can't wait for our book.
Wait, are you still in March? Yes.
Yes, that's March. It's March. I went in Goodreads and I checked, Grace. I did it by
No,
month. Grace, really,
no.
you really
So,
trying to come for me here.
listen, when I hear Namesake, even though I know it comes out in March, my mind automatically goes to April because that's when we're reading it.
That's true. Okay, okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. Are we reading it in No, we're not reading it in April.
Yes.
In May. Everybody, everybody's like,
Let me-
see, this is our friendship. Is I question Grace, and then Grace questions me, and then we're both confused for the rest of the night. I'm pretty sure we're reading it in May.
Okay, fine. Because it's not in our little picture that we did.
I love how Grace tries to come for me, but I'm the one who knows everything.
No. See, I'm not coming for you. I'm just, I'm doing it to make sure that you know what you're saying.
She's trying to keep me in check when I
Yes.
already checked myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
There needs to be a double check.
that's true.
You always check it twice.
So the next book that I'm excited for in March is Covet, which is the third book in the Crave series by Tracy Wolff. Grace has yet to read the series or get it. Grace, don't buy it. Um, that doesn't mean anything, and I'm not saying anything. Just don't buy it yet.
What?
The next book, we're gonna continue on to the next book. The Queen's Secret, which is the second book, The Queen's Assassin. I don't know if you ever read that. I read it.
I haven't read.
I've seen it a little bit more. I read it when I first started reading. After I read Akatar and Crescent City, that was one of the first books I read. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a really interesting story. I'm not going to spoil anything for it. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to say there's an assassin and a princess. That's all you need to know. It's good. It's good.
Cool.
And then Holding You Close is another Kennedy Fox book.
I'm like, that name has to be a romance title.
I
Has to be. That's not a fantasy. That's full on romance right there.
Kennedy Fox is my dirty little secret. That's what it is.
I don't know if it's a little secret because
Okay.
you put it out there a lot.
Okay.
It's a well-known keepsake.
That's true. It's a dirty pleasure.
Mhm.
Kennedy Fox is it a dirty pleasure? Is that what they're called? No, I'm so wrong.
That's not what it's called.
What
It's
is it called?
I don't know. My mind is not in that place right now,
I know.
man.
I can't be thinking
Usually
about
it is. Usually when we're recording, it is. I do have a little bit of those, moments. It hasn't hit me yet.
Okay, so that's March.
Okay, I have one more.
Oh, what is it?
It's A Trial of Sorcerers
Ooh.
by Elise Kova, who is the author of A Deal with the Elf King, which you got the December book from Bakery, and I wanted it so bad. I knew it was gonna look amazing, and I knew I wanted it.
Beautiful. I can't wait to put it on my shelf at school. And like Carly's boyfriend, I like how I call him her boyfriend, but they're not dating yet, but they're basically dating. Shout out to Carly.
Yeah.
He like first came to our room after I took all my books back. And so he was like, "Oh, she's a reader. There's no books in here." And I'm like, wait till I come back and you see all of my shit I have. Like my Rowan shrine, I got the from A Touch of Magic Designs. I got the Rowan picture, Rowan naked in the pond. So
My goodness.
my roommate boyfriend is gonna get a little sneak peek of Rowan's ass. um, I mean, and I'm gonna bring my candles too. So my shrine has just
Expanded.
expanded. And am I pleased? Yes. Um, is Carly gonna be embarrassed? Yes. I can't wait to see his face when he walks in the room and looks at my shrine and then sees a naked Rowan.
It's gonna be like, oh, so this is the kind of roommates that you have here, Carly, huh?
I mean, he already knows I'm crazy. Like he already knows it.
Yeah.
It was really funny because I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get into the story.
Not yet.
We're not getting into that. We would be here for like 3 hours. If I just started talking about anything I wanted to talk about, we would be here for 3 hours. Um,
Okay. So, A Trial of Sorcerers, it's perfect for the fans of Legend of Korra, Truth Witch, and A Sorcery of Thorns, which I have yet to read, but I know it's going to be really, really good.
so good. It's a good standalone.
Oh, yeah. And it's the first book. It's a young adult epic fantasy competition, coming of age, distant lands, elemental magic, which is my favorite kind, and romance. And the covers that Elise Kova has on all of her books are just like top tier. The graphic designer that she has,
Mm-hmm.
such an amazing job. I love all of
She does the Air Awakening series,
Yes.
and I want to read that series. So you're gonna have to get a deal with the Elf King, or maybe not. Um, I'm just giving you a bunch of books that you can't buy until your birthday, and then you're gonna be surprised by what book I get you.
Okay.
Basically, is what I'm just gonna tell you.
That's good. Because like during Christmas, I told my brother like
Let me know.
because he was just like, okay, so which one do you want? And I'm just like, well, I want that one, but then I also want this one. And then he's just like, okay, so I'll get you both. And I'm just like, no, but you can't tell me what you get me. I'm giving you the options. So I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna tell you, look at this, look at this, look at that. And then you pick one of those and it'll be a surprise, even though it's a chosen
Like
surprise.
honestly, that's why my mom just had me buy the books that I wanted for Christmas. And like she paid for it, but like I like put them on hold and everything at Barnes and Noble, and I like walked up with her and I bought them all because she was like, I would never have guessed what books to get for you. And I'm like, that's okay. And she's like, I probably wouldn't have even been able to find them.
Yeah. It's appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of books. So
Surprisingly, I only got one for Christmas.
you only got one?
Mm-hmm.
Just wait for your birthday. Okay, so April releases. I'm excited for April. I think our whole book club is excited because The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout is coming out. And we are doing a book club meeting for it, and we all decided to do one meeting because I'm not waiting. Because we usually do our meeting in like two meetings, a middle and then an end. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't contain myself when it comes to this series. Like, am I gonna read it in a day? Yes. Will I do an all-nighter if I have to? Yes. Am I a college student? Yes. So it's okay that I pull all-nighters. Like,
Fine.
I stayed up this week till like 4 a.m. reading a book.
I'm trying to remember what book you were reading.
It was Den of Vipers.
I think I mentally blocked out that you were reading that book because I'm just like, she's not reading anything right now.
Don't read it. It's so bad. It's such okay, the smut top tier, but it's like top tier for kinky people. So if you're not into like anything really
Anything beyond soft, rough play.
yeah, it's very rough play.
It's
It
like
there are like trigger warnings for like knife play and
Blood play.
blood play and definitely
Is there
like
a bit of grooming too?
um it is a very Stockholm syndrome thing where she, spoiler alert, gets captured by a gang and then she ends up having sex with all four members. Um yeah. And they do have like threesomes as well. Yeah.
See, that's too much for me.
See,
Oh gosh, Maggie. Oh my goodness.
um
I don't want to
I'm the
hear it. I don't. No, I'm good.
I'm the emo child. um Next month. As you can see why I like Azrael.
See, and that's why I like Cassian, because I feel like he's the type of guy, like you said, to bring me a little something to drink while throwing me up against the wall. But that's all he'll do, We won't be, we won't.
Yeah. Okay, next month. Which is May.
Yeah.
Let's just continue
Wait,
on.
wait, wait. What else? There's something else in April.
Is there?
I feel like there is.
I couldn't find anything on Goodreads. Do you have something for April?
No.
I don't.
Not anything that I'm interested in reading.
I mean, comment down below if there's any book that you're ready for releasing in April.
I think let me see.
I don't remember any besides The Crown of Gilded Bones. That's the only one I was really excited for. That was releasing in April.
Infinity Quartz, but I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
Infinity Quartz by Akemi Don Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
It's pitched as Warcross meets Black Mirror, which looks pretty cool. It follows a Japanese American teen who finds herself in infinity, a world which the human consciousness goes to after death. Cool. She battles AI entity posing as a queen, and it's hacked its way into afterlife.
Oh wow.
So it's sci-fi.
Sci-fi fantasy. Yeah.
That sounds cool. Why didn't I add that? Let me add that right now. Screenshot really quickly. Okay.
So that's April. May 2021. I have one book that I'm excited for that comes out in May.
Okay.
It's you haven't read it yet. It was one of the books that we planned to read together, and then I just read with my coworkers. It's a part of the Touch of Darkness series. It is A Touch of Magic by Scarlett St. Clair. And I'm excited. When I say I'm excited,
Third one, right?
it's the third one. I am hyped for this book. I am so excited. I need to.
Now it's further down on my TBR because you're not reading it with me.
I will reread it.
It's not the same.
You know what? I'm just gonna start. I need to start bullying Grace into reading. That's what I need to start doing. Is just bullying Grace and being like, "Hey, you need to read this book this month, or you got to pay me $5."
Something. Because look. I got to be proud of myself because this January I have read more than what I thought.
You did.
I just finished book number 4.
You're above average right now.
I am above average because 4 would have been like I'm finishing the 4th book like on the 30th of what month we're in. And it's only the 19th. We're recording this on the 20th. We're recording this on the 20th. Happy Inauguration Day, people.
Yes, happy inauguration.
Even though you'll listen to this at the end of the week. So yeah. I've been doing pretty good. So 4 books is usually what I do. I spend like a week on a book, a couple days on a book, and then I leave like a buffer rooms where I watch a TV show or something to like filter out my brain, like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
No, but I could, if I really tried, I could probably do like 6 a month, which I'm probably gonna have to start doing because of our book club jam packing 2 books plus the books that
Yeah.
we're gonna read together and any other buddy reads that I'm doing.
I think we're gonna have to read a heart so fierce and broken. No, yeah. 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 Yes. Okay. We're gonna have to start. We're gonna read that in February. Um,
Okay. No, 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 no. It wasn't that. It's because you remember my February TBR.
oh, but
So
like that's just for Instagram. That doesn't have to be your actual TBR.
it was actually going to be my TBR. No, no, I just won't put it in the video. It'll be a hush hush secret between us.
Yeah.
And I'll put a vow so bold and deadly. To clarify for our listeners and viewers, in February, I was going to try and push to be aesthetic and do a color themed TBR. So I was only going to read books with pink, red, or anything in between colored books. So, for example, I was going to read The Lovely War, Rosemark, You Had Me at Ola, um, Queen of Shadows, and another red book, A Vow So Bold and Deadly.
We can squeeze in a heart so fierce and broken in the next week.
That means that we would be reading These Violent Delights, The Princess Will Save You, and that. And I'm reading Air of Fire. I don't know if I could probably do it if I do nothing but listen to these books
Yeah,
and don't remember half of the things that go on.
that's true.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, so where were we?
Uh, that was May. Now we're in June.
Oh, wait. I have another one for May. So, Trisha Levenseller is coming out with Blade of Secrets, which is going to be the first in the Blade Smith series, and is a teenage bladesmith with social anxiety, accepts a commission from the wrong person and is forced to run to protect the world from the most powerful and magical sword ever made.
That's interesting.
I like that.
That's
And
really
it's Trisha Levenseller, and it's a series.
ooh.
Trisha Levenseller is the one who wrote Daughter of a Pirate King and The Shadows Between Us.
I need to read both of. I have both of those books. Still need to read them.
When you read it, you will understand why I'm excited, because her writing style literally just like pulls me in, and it's like a full story just in one book, and you're kind of sad that it's so small of a book and it's just one.
Yeah, it's like a quick read, palate cleanser kind of book, really.
Yeah, but you'll feel that book, and not emotion, like you'll just love that book, whatever.
Okay. So that's for May. In June, I have Grace and Glory by Jennifer L. Armentrout. That's the third book in the Storm and Fury. I think it's a trilogy. I'm pretty sure because the one, like the prequel series to that, is a trilogy. So I think this is a trilogy as well. And then Seasons of Chaos, um, which is the second book to Seasons of the Storm. I don't think I will buy the book. I'll probably rent it from my library because I really, we talked about this in our
We expected a lot more from this book, but we did like the characters, and
yeah.
we wish that we would have gotten more of the characters. So that's the only reason why we're going to be reading the next book, in hopes that the characters are done justice in the second book. But we'll see.
I think it's a duology, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a duology. Yeah. So that's the book. I also wrote down some that haven't been like it's more of the end of the year and I don't have an exact date for them, but like
I have one more for June.
ooh, what's that?
Fire with Fire by Destiny Soria. It is a story about 2 Latinx sisters who live in a world of dragon slayers, and they become enemies. So it's sister versus sister, and there's LGBTQ and Latinx representation in that one. I saw that one on Net Gallery way back, and I requested it for an arc, and I didn't get it. So I'm excited to read that one, especially because I'm trying to see more Latinx, fantasy.
Yeah,
Fantasy. Because, there's a lot of Latinx other books out there, but fantasy, we don't really get that.
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. That's the second book for Kingdom of the Wicked. I read that. Nautical Reads and I. We didn't read it together. She read it, and then I read it like a couple days later, and then we talked about it. And we kind of read Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco together. We both finished the book today. A Queen of Gilded Horns is the second book to A River of Royal Blood. I read that book. I kind of just read it because I liked the cover and then I fell in love with the story. And so I'm really excited. That comes out earlier this year, but I couldn't find an exact date for it. It's probably somewhere in Goodreads. I just couldn't find it in Goodreads. I'm sorry. And then do you have any other books?
Yeah, so I have a couple more that that have dates, but they're later on in the year.
Mhm.
I have another one for June, which is Daughter of Sparta by Claire M. Andrews. And it's a Greek myth retelling. Enemies to lovers to enemies. That's the only reason why I added it. I don't care what else it's about, but enemies to lovers to enemies, I was like, cop that.
They go back to lovers though, is my question.
It says ... So I'm like,
That's a back to lovers. That's
yeah,
a back to lovers. Like that's like an enemies to enemies to lovers. Like I would. Oh, that sounds good.
And then I have Blood Like Magic, which is going to be the first in the series. It's by Lascelles Sambury, and it is in near future Toronto. Rich, dark urban fantasy debut following a teen witch with one horrifying task. She needs to sacrifice her first love to save her family's magic, but she's never fallen in love before. So she's basically going to be roaming the streets to find someone to fall in love with, only to sacrifice him.
I love that.
You know, right?
That sounds so good.
And POC main character.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love that. That one is coming out in June 15th. Did I say Daughter of Sparta? Daughter of Sparta is June 8th. Blood Like Magic is June 15th. And July 6th is Six Crimson Cranes, which is going to be the first book. It's by Elizabeth Lim. It's inspired by Asian folklore. An exiled princess, spurned betrothal, miracle dragon, paper bird drought, fantasy brought to life, kind of magic-y Asian folklore, which the cover is really what drew me in. Gotta love that. And then August 3rd is a dragon bird in the fern by Laura Ruckert. I don't know how to say her last name. It's about a dyslexic princess who marries a foreign king and moves to his country to hunt her sister's assassin.
Are those all the books?
I think that's all I have right now.
I have a couple more. I have the Aurora Cycles, the last book. That one is, I don't know the name. It's by Jay Kristoff and I forgot her name. It's the Aurora Cycles, Aurora Rising, Aurora Burning.
Yeah.
But Jay Kristoff, he's one of the authors. And then Gods and Monsters by Shelby Morahun.
Mahurin?
Yeah. I don't know how to say her last name, so I'm just gonna say Shelby M. I'm excited for that. And then also by Chloe Gong, we have Our Violent Ends. It's the second book to These Violent Delights. It's like These Violent Delights have Our Violent Ends is like the saying. So These Violent Delights is the first. Is it? Is it not? I'm pretty sure it's something like that.
These violent delights lead to violent ends, but it's our violent ends because it's about them.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's the first book is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, set in the 1920s. And I'm excited to read it. We're actually going to start reading it. I'm going to read it next Friday. Because I don't have school next Friday. Because I have Fridays off, except accounting quizzes and tests. So I'm gonna be reading like a book a Friday. So when I get Akatar, Akasa, Akafil,
Akasuf.
Akasuf, when I get Akasuf, I'm reading like it. I'm honestly, I might just read the whole like half of the book right before our meeting, and then just finish the second half after our meeting because I don't want to wait 2 weeks. I don't think I can wait 2 weeks.
I'm terrified that we're not gonna get it in time.
I think you will. I think you will. Okay, so next thing, we kind of talked about our reading goals. Book series. What are some book series that you want to read for 2021? New books,
Oh,
new ones.
well, I think most of those were new ones. Well, starting. Or do you mean book series that I'm reading for the first time?
Yes.
Okay. That have been out and
Yeah. Like for me, the Scythe series, and then like Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Wicked Saints, and then the Illuminae files. Those are the series that I want to read this year. What about you?
Okay. So, uh, I just remembered I was supposed to start Scythe this month as well to read with Sam. I don't think I'm gonna get there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But she's been busy with school too and other things, so I think I'm
It's a
gonna.
red book.
It is a red book, but it's not really red. It's kind of like red and tan. And no, we're not gonna get into that. I'm trying to be aesthetically pleasing, but it's not working out. So
You are a very aesthetically pleasing person. Don't deny that. Your Instagram is very aesthetically pleasing, while mine is like a book nerd on crack who's just trying to take pictures, as many pictures as she can of her books. That's literally my Instagram.
no, I definitely need to step it up again
I
because
love it. I love your photos are so beautiful though.
I like it too because I do like color. Like that's my thing. I like other bookstagrammers who have like the muted tones and a lot of browns and stuff like that.
Me.
But me, I like color. I like brightness. I like vibrancy, and that's why in most of my feed, though I have a filter on it and I edit it, the color of the cover is still there and it's still bright enough. Like if you look through it, like my Legendborn one, I like edited the crap out of it to make sure that though the background still matched like the fall theme, the cover was not diluted in any of the color. And then in my winter themes, I love color. I just love color. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see because February is coming. February is gonna be a new month. Look out for that. Help me out, guys. But yeah, so Scythe is another one that I have to read, and I'm excited because a lot of fan art is starting to pop up about it.
Mm-hmm. And one of the characters' names is Rowan.
Yes, and one is named Reese, I think too.
I only got it because I saw Rowan and I just snagged it up.
I feel like there's a Reese in that book too, but he's not good.
Let me grab the book real quick. I have it on I have like my little TBR pile on my desk. So this is like Arc of a Scythe, book 1. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all those things, and has even conquered death. Now scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequences of failure mean losing their own. They learn living in a perfect world comes only with a heavy price. So I didn't start A Princess Will Save You, even though I said I was.
So let me guess, who started this one?
No, I started a different one by Holly Black.
Okay.
It's called The Darkest Part of the Forest. It's part of like the fairy.
Yeah. It came out before.
Yeah, which I didn't realize it came out before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I started that. But I think I'll after you finish the audiobook for Princess Will Save You, I will read it. So I'll probably like read this before.
Well, you could read the audiobook. You could do that one.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Yeah, because I borrowed it from my library too.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so I kind of
Okay, wait. Because the series are lining up in my head, and I gotta get them out or throw them out before like they disappear.
A Darker Shade of Magic. I want to read that series.
I have to finish that series, so we're gonna add that into mine too. So I've only read the first one. So a lot of the series are because I've only read the first one, and I need to finish the rest of them. So counting off those, I have A Darker Shade of Magic, The Wrath and the Dawn duology. Have to finish that. I have to finish A Curse So Dark and Lonely, that series. I have to finish the Graceling series because I read the first one years ago and I need to reread it.
I'll reread it with you.
Okay, cool. Nevernight is going to be a series that I need to read. I need to read Aurora Rising, The Beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Renegades.
Yes.
Let me look to my other shelf because Caraval series.
I forgot you haven't even finished that. You've only read the first one.
I know.
Fake fan.
I will get to it. We Hunt the Flame because the second book just came out.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that one too. And the ones that you said because they're on my list too.
Our TBRs are kind of the same, honestly. Like
the only thing is yours has a lot more adult romance. Okay. Let me
it's only Kennedy Fox, okay?
Let me clarify that. Yours has a lot more adult romance immediately on the list. Mine is like
that's true.
Back burner. If I get to it, then I get to it. Yeah. What else? I think that is a Wicked. You said that already though. Eon and Iona. That one too. Yeah. I'm really excited to read that. And you know what? Hold up.
I kind of am almost thankful that like a lot of the series that I want to read this year are done, so I don't have to wait like I'm waiting for like From Blood and Ash. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you are on the YouTube, you can see Grace's TBR. She's written very small, and her TBR list is not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 pages long.
And I haven't added to it in like a couple months.
Yeah.
So, Percy Jackson is on there. Heroes of Olympus is on there. The Shiver series, Raven Boys, Wicked series by JLA.
Yes. Oh, I have so many series I need to read from JLA. I haven't even finished the Covenant series yet.
The Crave series by Tracy Wolf because I haven't read that yet.
I recommend Crave to anybody who likes Twilight, but it's just a better Twilight. That's what it is.
The Spin the Dawn series.
Mm-hmm.
The Gilded Wolves. And
I made a mistake.
I think that's pretty much.
The third book in the Gilded Wolves series comes out this year too.
Yes. I think those are all of the ones that you have not mentioned yet.
I'm reading Mortal Instruments as well. I'm reading the first book. I'm trying to read like 1 book a month for that series. Because my roommate wanted me to read that. So, and I have the box set up here. It's up on my top shelf. But okay, so kind of to switch it up, we did ask on our Instagram bookish goals from our listeners, and so I have some of y'all wrote in the Instagram story some of your goals. So Kate from Nautical Reads says more classic and nonfiction, and more BIPOC authors. That's BIPOC. What does that stand for? BIPOC. I that's just what
People of color. I'm sorry. I was looking at that as two different words. I'm just like, bi. What does bi mean? POC. And then in my head, I put it together, and I'm like, oh, Black Indigenous people of color.
Yeah. And then
I
Abigail.
have no idea why I brain farted on that, because that's just like
I don't know why I didn't know about that either. I was just like, I just thought of POC and I was like, oh, what does the BI stand for? And then I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then Abigail said she wants to read 100 books this year, which kudos to you for trying. I was only able to read 100 books because of quarantine. That was the only reason why. Alexa, the bookworm, says to only keep the books that I loved. So that's a really interesting thing to do, is like, if you don't love a book, to like maybe sell it back to half price books. I've definitely thought about that, but then I can't separate myself from books.
Same. I think what I'm going to be doing a lot more to kind of piggyback on that is like use my library a lot more.
Yeah.
And then buy the books that I enjoy halfway through. But that's also a problem, because I'm starting to really like annotating or tabbing my books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
don't know.
I think I definitely, like, a lot of these books I bought like a quarter of the way through the year, because at the beginning of quarantine, I read a lot through my library. I read at least 60 books through my library alone. So I I will say my tax dollars really well used. The literature llama says to read 50 books, but also to do constant reviews on those books. I definitely agree with that. I definitely lack in reviewing books when I post like photos. I definitely lack reviewing them. I kind of want to do like one sentence reviews, because I feel like I personally, I did a TikTok about this where I don't like when people like talk too much about the book, because then I'm like, oh well, I kind of know the story and I really want to like be fresh. And like when I read Throne of Glass and stuff, I had no idea what I was reading about. Like the whole series, no idea. Akatar, no idea. Crescent City, no idea. And I think that's what made me really like the books, is I had no idea what they were about. Melissa, hi Melissa. She says to read more adult books. Kind of like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. V.E. Schwab, I think, is a very good writer. I'm looking at it. If you see me looking over, I'm like looking at Addie LaRue on my desk. It's kind of like staring me down because I keep passing it up. And it's kind of just over there like, Maggie, come read me. And I'm just like, chill down, sweetheart. Books and Betches, Betches, says do more reviews. And then Emmy Pooh too, find more LGBTQ plus, publish her book, and then get Maggie to read Discovery of Witches. Yes. That might be a series I need to read in 2021, is Discovery of Witches.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I like very, very much. If you haven't read it before, it's like Twilight for adults with dark academia and time travel.
Yeah. No, it's even the like the book series, not the book series, the TV series is really good. We watch it together with Emily every Saturday. So, oh my gosh. I can watch it this Saturday. I can watch it. I'll still watch it.
Okay.
I can still watch it because I can, like, if I'm at work or something, I can watch it while I'm at work because I don't do shit at work. Okay. So, book releases that you would kill for, our listeners would kill for. So, Kate said that The Crown of Gilded Bones. It's the, not a. We found that out. I don't know why I always said A Crown of Gilded Bones.
It was Akatar that got to us.
I think it is, but like The Crown of Gilded Bones sounds so much more majestic because it's only one, so that makes sense.
It's V.
It's not A.
It's not the. It's V.
V. It's the. Alexa, the bookworm, is One Last Stop. Literature Llama and Melissa and Emily all said A Court of Silver Flames. Books in Betches Said the third book in the Night series by Janine Frost. And then Kisses BXS said The Black Witch, the new book in the Black Witch series. Yeah, so it's a lot of diverse kind of like, I mean, for except for like Akasuf, and I mean, not that actually no, 3 people agreed that Akasuf was their most read to kill for. What books will you be rereading this year, Grace?
Yeah, okay. I had like a brain fart moment. I was just like nothing because I still have to read everything for the first time. But no. I will be reading Graceling, the first in the Grace Realm series, because I read that one these books that I'm rereading are way back in high school. So I'm rereading Graceling. I'm rereading Shiver. I'm rereading Eon because I read all 3 of those back in high school. And Fallen by Lauren Kate.
Oh, that's right. It's on my shelf, yeah.
And most likely I'm gonna skim through From Blood and Ash and Kingdom of Flesh and Fire.
There's
Again.
like certain scenes I'm gonna revisit.
Gotta be.
I need to tab them. I think I should tab them. Also, the reason why I have to read The Crown of Gilded Bones so fast is because my friend Bitsy also reads books with me. So like I'll read a book and then I'll hand it to her. So I have to read it as fast as I can so she can read it as fast as she can. So but that's one of the books I'm like bringing back to revisit is Kingdom of Flesh and Fire because there's a lot of flesh in there.
I think that's it for the rereads. Everything else is just gonna be new and for the first time.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, that's something that like is kind of like bugging me is that like I didn't read in high school, so I couldn't read all these books beforehand, so that like I couldn't just keep up with like new releases and like like ones that like I didn't pick up in high school and stuff. But no, I have to like catch up so much, which I think really is negative, but also I mean, I would never have read JLA. I would have met you if I didn't start reading and I didn't start a TikTok.
Yeah.
Which
Thanks.
is so weird. But
Like the books that I read in high school though, they weren't books that were really new.
Yeah.
They were books that I just got from my school library or my teacher's library in her room
Yeah.
in the classroom. So even then it was like, except for Hunger Games, because the movie.
I went to 2 different high schools and 2 different middle schools. So my middle school in Dallas didn't have that big of a library, so like I didn't ever go to the library. My middle library in my middle school was also, it was a nice library, but it just didn't have like a lot of, I don't remember spending any time in the library. And same with the library at my high school. The library was more of a place to go for computers. It didn't have a lot of books. It was more of a computer library-esque. So I didn't check out any books there. The library here in Kansas, because I went to middle school in Dallas and then in Colorado, and then high school in Colorado, and then high school here in Kansas, which is our 4-year anniversary living here in Kansas is this year. Yeah, it's like this year, this month is like,
Wow.
we moved January 1st. So 4 years and 1 month we've been living here. But my school here had a really nice library, but they just didn't have really new releases, especially when it came to YA. YA, like romance fantasy, wasn't really
A thing.
developed. Yeah.
Um, you, so my high school library, so my school was brand new. It was Robert F. Kennedy Community School. So it was the new school that they built, opened in 2010, and it was like made the news and everything because it was built where the hotel was, the Ambassador Hotel was, where um Kennedy was shot. Robert Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy.
I was about to say, oh, Grace froze, but I was about to say that JFK was shot in Dallas. I was like, you didn't go to Dallas for school. Grace is frozen, so I'm just gonna keep talking while she unfreezes. But I just kept talking while you
Yeah.
were frozen. But I was about to say JFK died in Dallas. I was gonna be like,
Bobby.
but Bobby is the one.
Yeah, that's why when I said Kennedy, I'm just like, oh wait, hold on, Bobby Kennedy.
So I was like, I've been to the museum in Dallas. You didn't go. You didn't live in Dallas. But yeah, no, yeah. Um, which I think the difference between when it comes to like Grace is frozen yet again, so I'll just keep talking. The difference, it definitely I can see the education levels and the amount of funding that schools get. Because I have lived in 3 different school districts and I had vastly different educations. And a lot of funding went into the library at my new school in Kansas versus my school in Dallas and in Colorado weren't as greatly funded. Granted, we do pay a lot more in like property taxes, and our sales tax here is like 10%, which is like crazy because in Omaha it's 6%, which 4%. It's a lot. It's kind of crazy here where I live in Kansas City. So but the schools get a lot of funding because of that. A lot of the money goes to schools and to like roads and stuff, and you can see it in the education. Yeah, but
You want to hear a quick funny story
yes,
that I didn't start picking up books until I was like 15, but somehow I should have known that I was going to be a reader because in elementary school I spent all of my time in the library, just sitting down in there. And I should have known that I would have been a reader because of that.
now that I'm thinking about that, I did too. Like the library was like a cool place to go. It had like the computer lab. Like that's where we'd hang out after school in like Pace. We'd go into the library in the computer lab, or like we had like the Scholastic book fairs in the library. Okay, the Scholastic book fairs were a highlight of my elementary education. I tell you, when I got my dad to come with me to get books, okay, I was a reader in like elementary school. I was a reader. And I lost it when I like hit like 4th, 5th, 6th grade. But the Scholastic book fairs, I was a bad bitch walking into the Scholastic book fair with my dad getting me items from that. I felt like a bad bitch, I tell you.
Oh my gosh. You that day you had to like pull up like how much did you bring?
Yeah.
Oh, you brought like $1. I brought 10. I'm
Yeah.
gonna this and you know, you're looking through that. Are you gonna get the big pack? No, I'm just gonna get an eraser or whatever. And like you felt so cool buying all this stuff, all these little BS trinkets and
The
stuff.
smelly, the smelted pencils, the grape one and the blue raspberry, top tier. Where did they go? Where is that company now? I loved those pencils. I never used them. I would just sniff them in class. I remember sitting in like during the lunchroom and we were like a bunch of crack addicts. I tell you, we were crack addicts sniffing these. Like, I don't know what was in there, but like everybody had them and everybody was sniffing them. I tell you, something was in there.
They smelled strong and like never lost their scent though.
Never. Like, it was like embedded in the wood and stuff. Well, because it wasn't wood, it was like recycled paper. That's what it was. So it was like they like perfumed all of the paper. It smells like they like soaked it in like the perfume or whatever, and then
Like have you seen how they make paper out of recycled paper?
yeah, like in the water and stuff.
Yeah. That's what they did. They soaked it in like the juice of grape juice. Scent in there. No, yeah. And then like the really bendy pencils
Or the erasers, yes.
and the big jumbo thick pencils too.
The jumbo erasers.
Yeah.
I
Scholastic Book Fair was top tier.
Okay, the Scholastic Book Fair also had like box sets of things. Like that I should have realized I would have a love of buying books. My love of buying books came from the Scholastic Book Fair. Like, fuck you, Scholastic Book Fair, for making me desire, like, the amount of need and want that I have for books is because of that. Because I felt so, like, I felt like a baddie, like, walking in, having like $10, $15. I think one time I had like $20 to spend.
Oh yeah.
It,
And you just felt so good like the couple weeks after. But then a lot of people, they wouldn't touch the books that they got or whatever. But
yeah,
like I remember that week, that whole week would be just like amazing.
I worked at it. In like fifth and sixth grade, I was working at it.
Ooh.
Which really foreshadowed that I would work at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
No, but I loved the Scholastic Book Fair. Like that. Now that you're saying that, like that makes me realize how much I actually liked going to the library.
Yep.
I used to flirt with guys in the library as well.
I had this guy who would hang out with me. Another story. Quick story. This guy who was my best friend in elementary school. He's so sweet. I looking back at it now, if I were looking back at that moment, I'd probably think that he was gay because he was just nice and sweet and just didn't want to hang out with anybody but me because I was just cool, whatever. Anyways, and he only hung around me, and then I would just be like, look, I'm just gonna go to the library, and then he's just like, oh, I'll go with you, and then he'll go with me instead of like being, with the guys or whatever. And I was so sad, like after like I stopped going to that school because I was homeschooled for middle school, so I stopped going there. And come to find out, I found him on social media through a mutual friend of ours in my adult life. My gosh, that boy was blessed.
Oh,
What?
you're gonna have to send me a photo after this. Is
My
he?
goodness, he was blessed. I mean, he glue his same face though. Beautiful face. So cute, adorable, loved his cheekbones. So sweet, great smile. Glue up. And I mean, he knew what he had to, because apparently I heard that he's quite the ladies' man too. And I've been wanting to reach out, just to kind of be, hi, do you remember
Do
me?
it. Do it. Like,
No.
hey, like my friend and I were just talking, and I just totally remembered that, like, you and I were like low key flirting. Like, okay, the guys I used to like hang around now, I'm sorry. Some of them, like, I wish I never knew them.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with the guys that I've actually flirted with, but apparently
Yeah.
the ones that I didn't flirt with or didn't realize liked me were the ones.
Yes. I mean, okay, I want to find this guy. I'm just gonna sidetrack the whole like bookish stuff. The end of this podcast always ends up not being about books. It's a little more of our life stories.
Yeah, I know.
In first grade, I went on a cruise to Mexico with my family, and there was this guy named Michael on the cruise. I'm gonna make a TikTok about this because TikTok has to help me find him. Um, and like he was like my first kiss. He was literally like my first love. Like I was in love with this boy. We went to the kids club together. We met in the kids club and we hung out together in the kids club. And we would like go around the ship together and like we like laid outside and looked at the stars together and it was really fun. And we kissed. So we were at like a musical thing and they were like, I remember this distinctly. They were singing YMCA. They were singing YMCA and it was me, this dude, and then Michael. And Michael wanted to sit next to me. So he asked the dude in between us if he could switch. And the guy said no. And Michael was like, well, what do I have to do to allow you to like let us move? And he's like, kiss Maggie. And I was like, granted, my heart, this is like a Wattpad story. My heart was racing. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get my first kiss. Oh my gosh. Of course, we kissed him behind his back. We kissed like the guy like leaned forward and looked back and then he watched and we kissed.
He couldn't just lean back and let you guys kiss in front of him.
No, because
Yeah.
there's like people, so we wanted to keep it like a secret. So like we kissed behind his back. And no joke, my dad showed up like 10-15 seconds later. I saw my dad. I was like, ugh. I was like, oh. I was like, no, no. But I need to find Michael. I think his name was Michael. I'm pretty sure it was Michael.
I remember the names of
It was
those.
an M name. It was an M name because it was Maggie and Michael. I think it was Michael. I'm going to make a TikTok about it. I'm going to show my picture and be like, I was wearing this cheetah dress all the time because I wore like a cheetah dress the whole time. I like
the book cover of this Wattpad journey. I can see the
oh
cover.
my gosh, I should make this into a book. But like,
How old were you?
I was in first grade. Is that 7, 8?
6, girl.
No, 6 is.
I'm in second grade. Second grade is 7, 8.
Oh, so I was in first grade.
A little 6-year-old Maggie running around.
And then I got a boyfriend, and I had a boyfriend in second grade, and then we got married.
I've been married a couple times.
Okay, marrying your best friend on the school playground, like who hasn't? I'm sorry. And it's
I've
funny.
married people on my front porch at my childhood home.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we used to have like swimming dates together. Or we
Aw.
swim in the pool together. Definitely have kissed underwater.
Oh yeah, that's like like you have to do that.
Yeah, it's weird. But I was like in second grade. I was fine. As you could tell, I was a little mature for my age.
We both were.
Like I think when people say, "Oh, I'm mature for my age," I was so mature for my age. I was like thinking about like my wedding at like 1 years old. I was like, I'm gonna like not 1 years old, first grade. Like that Michael kid. I think it was like first grade going to second grade. So I was actually like because my birthday's in February, so maybe I was like 7. But yeah, I'm gonna find that picture and I'm gonna make a TikTok about it.
Picture? You have the picture?
Well, I have a picture of me on the cruise.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna like be like, hey, TikTok, you gotta help me find this guy. This guy, his name is Michael. Michael, if you were on this cruise on this day in this year, what would be 13 years ago? I still remember this guy 13 years ago.
I remember my first kiss. He
Like-
was my neighbor. And he had a really nice glow up too. To the point where like he and I we had our first kiss through the gate of our houses. And it was like checking no one's coming, lean in, kiss.
Yeah.
Coming again. And apparently about a year ago, I find out that my grandma saw us multiple times to the point that she kind of drove by the same street because he still lives there on the same street, which is like a couple blocks away from me. She saw him and was just like, "Oh, Grace, do you remember Alex?" And I was just like, "Alex, like that's the only one that I can remember." And I was just like, "This Alex?" And she's just like, "Yeah, I saw him. He was your first kiss, wasn't he?" And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. When did you find this out?" And she's just like, "He was, right?" And I'm just like, "I mean, yeah, but you don't gotta call me out like that." And she's just like, "I saw him and he's very handsome." And I was just like, "Oh goodness, great," because he had those eyes and eyelashes. That boy. First kiss, like you have to remember, they were like warm honey. Like I know they describe it all the time, but like honey, like you know how honey looks, like it looks kind of dark, but like when you warm it up a little bit, it looks a little like brighter before darkening again. Like that lightness, that's what it looked like. Oh my gosh, amazing colored eyes, so cute.
So when are you gonna walk over and say hi? No,
When I'm about to move.
do it. I dare you. I dare you to do it. Be like, hey, I'm moving, but like, nice to be my first kiss. Bye bye. No, I definitely need to make that TikTok. I hope it like blows up too because I want to find him. Like I don't even like I just want to see what he looks like now and if he remembers me. That's the only reason.
If you do it, you gotta write the Wattpad. You have to.
Okay, if it
You have.
if it blows up and it like I will write a Wattpad. I will write a Wattpad story, like a Wattpad style esque story about that. And I think it's a perfect story. So nobody, I'm trademarking this story now. I don't know what the title would be, but I could definitely see like a cheetah print background and then a boat. But like if I just want to see how he is now because like I think about him all the time, especially as I grow older. It's so weird, but I think about like, oh my gosh, like my first, like once a year maybe, where I'm like, oh my god, my first kiss was this boy on a cruise, and like I don't remember what he looks. I know he was taller than me and brownish hair. I honestly could ask my parents if they probably have a picture of us. I need to.
You should.
I will after this podcast. I will go ask my mom. Like they have like photos and stuff from it. So hopefully, like we have like a photo album. So hopefully, I can find it.
Your mom is probably gonna be like, "Oh, you mean your little boyfriend Michael that you had on that cruise? Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute." Totally do that.
No, if it blows up on TikTok, I will make a Wattpad story. I just want to see like what he looks like now, what his life has gone to, like what he, because I think he was a little bit older than me, and I just
You
want
could
to
be
see.
like, "Hey, I know you were my first kiss, but you want to also be my last."
God no, um, I'm too much of a whore for that. Oh my gosh.
That's some type of pickup lines that these guys be
I
talking about.
know, like that's a great pickup line, but I just want to like he could be like in a relationship and stuff and be happy. I wouldn't care. I just want to see like what he looks like. I'm so intrigued to see because I've forgotten what he looks like. Like I've totally forgotten about it, but I have like a picture in my head, but that's not what he looked like. He could have been blonde and I would have forgotten by now. But I remember living through it. That's the thing is I remember going through it, which is so weird because I forget a lot, but that's like one of my vivid memories from like really early on.
See, sometimes I can't trust memories like that because so I do this thing.
You try to say I made up this boy?
No. That's not what I'm
That's
saying.
what it sounds like. I'm sorry, I'm not that delusional.
I am. Like so, like every like couple years, I'll go up to my family and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, do you guys remember that time that we were at this park and all of a sudden there were gunshots going off and we were all dove to the ground and then we all of a sudden everybody was picked up and started running to the cars and we get to the car and then I remember my sandals were at the sand pit at the playground and I told dad that I needed my sandals, that they had butterflies on them and there were those thick platform sandals. I'm like, Daddy, I need my sandals. So we went back and then he went out into the playground not knowing what else dangers were out there, got the sandals and came back. And as soon as I finished saying that line, my mom and my brother turned to me and looked at me and they're like, Grace, that was a dream.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but this is not a dream.
No, it was real. I remember. And they're just like, Grace, you do this all the time. You always remember this story and you forget that it was a dream that you had that when you were a little kid. It was a dream that you had and you tell it to us all the time. But granted, now I remember that it is a dream because I hadn't brought it up in years. But when I brought it up like a year ago, they were just like, girl, it was a dream. I'm like, no, it wasn't a dream. And they're like, yes, it was a dream. So I have such a vivid imagination that I remember memories or things that might have happened and they might have been daydreams. But they're just imprinted on my mind. Not saying that this is what happened to you, because I totally believe that Michael was out there.
Michael is out there.
Not
I
saying that.
will find Michael. I will
You
find.
will. You're not like me, who's delusional and crazy, and definitely has that. What do you call it? Maladaptive daydreaming disorder.
Do I look like I know? I'm an accountant. I'm not a
Haven't you heard of that on TikTok?
no.
It's like a disorder of like when you create these vivid imaginations or daydreams about
Mhm.
fictional characters or things, and you create whole plot points and stories for them, and like you constantly go back to add to that plot like any writer would do,
Yeah.
and it becomes a problem when you do that as a source of escapism, and you basically escape into your own mind rather than be around other people.
That sounds like me
All of
normally.
us.
That
Well,
just sounds like a reader.
it sounds like all of, but with the difference is with maladaptive daydreaming is that you are literally creating. So then you start believing that these characters are real.
Oh, so it's like you like look around and can talk to them kind of thing? Like do you see them?
Kind of. So like you'll have these constant daydreams throughout the day. It'll get to the point where it'll, if you do it too much, it'll get to the point where like it would be as if we would see Marcel picking up something or like walking around.
Basically
How
like hallucinations kind of?
kind of,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's a day. So
Wow.
have, I basically have, all of us have it, but I have it a little bit more because I replace memories with these hallucinations.
You replace dreams with memories. Memories with dreams. Yeah, that's right. Well, I think our podcast has gone a little bit over. I don't know about you, but we totally were just going to talk about 2020 releases. Literally, grades before this set. It's going to be a short podcast. You know, this is probably already over an hour long. I don't think it should be like a 2020 reading list, or will they stick to their TBR? Should be the title. I think First Kisses should be the title. TBR and First Kisses.
So like, okay, to bring it back to books, um, what's a book series that you really want to get to, but you know you probably won't?
Ooh.
Be realistic. Keep yourself in check.
So I have the whole series right here. It's called the Lux series. I probably won't get to this year. I know I won't. It's beautiful sisters Elizabeth and Diana Holland rule Manhattan's social scene, or so it appears. When the girls discover their status among New York City's elite is far from secure, suddenly everyone, from the backstabbing socialite Penelope Hayes to the debonair bachelor Henry, to the spiteful maid Lena, threatens Elizabeth and Diana's golden future. With the fate of the Hollands resting on her shoulder, Elizabeth must choose between family duty, and true love. But her carriage overturns near the Hudson River. The girl whose glittering life, lit up by the city's gossip pages, is swallowed by the rough current. As New York grieves, some begin to wonder whether life at the top proved too much for the
It's real.
ethereal beauty, thank you, or if perhaps someone wanted to see Manhattan's most celebrated daughter disappear. In the world of luxury and deception, appearance matter above everything, and breaking the social code means running the risk of being ostracized forever. The age of innocence is anything but innocent. It's
Wow.
a quartet, so it's the Lux, Rumors, Envy, and then Splendor is the whole series, which I definitely was interested in it, but I probably won't be able to get to it this year. I have a feeling that I won't.
For me, it's A Winter's Promise. So The Mirror Visitor.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a French book. It's The Winter's Promise, La Passé Mirror. I don't know how to say it in French, but that's what it is. And they have to be translated to English before we get them. I think only the first and second one are in English, and the third and fourth one are not yet. That one and the Lux series by JLA. I don't think I'm
Yeah.
getting, or Half Blood by JLA. And
Half Blood is good. I'm stuck on the last book. I cannot finish that. I don't think I'll finish that this month, but next month. because I just finished Apollyon, which is the 4th book this month, even though I started it in December, but I just finished it in this month.
I think I'm just not gonna get to. And another thing is just like these past couple months, I've been really strict on a TBR and books that I need to read, books that I have to read for book club. I've been feeling like I need to let my I need to let myself just kind of relax and pick up a book because I want to pick it up, not because I'm planning and keeping myself like I have to read this book because I'm reading it with this person, or I'm reading it for book club, or I'm reading it for our admin thing. I want to pick up a book because I actually want to pick it up. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but like I didn't do a January TBR for
Yeah, I
like,
noticed that. Yeah.
but I still had a TBR that I had to keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
And so February is like the last month that I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna read these books. So after that, besides our book club books and the books that we're reading for a podcast, I'm gonna try to just read whatever comes to me because I want to. And I feel like that's something that people need to remember when they're setting these goals. Like, look, you could set a goal. Great if you do. If you don't stick to it, that doesn't mean that you failed as a reader.
Yeah.
Does not mean that you weren't capable of doing it. You live, you have a life. You cannot sit around and read all day, though we want to. You have a life, you have school, you have work, you have to see your family, you have to do other things. And so if you don't meet your goal, that's totally fine. If you set a goal of 10 books for the whole year, that's fine. If you don't even set a goal, perfect. If you set a goal for 200 books this year and you are pushing to do it, great, good for you. But I want you guys to remember, like, look, you do not need to measure up to somebody else. Like, me and Maggie, our relationship, top tier. We're like best of friends, right? She reads so many more books than I do. And
I have a really fast reading comprehension. That's just the thing, is I'm a naturally a fast reader. Like I can't, that's the thing, is like that's different between me and Grace, is I can't listen to an audiobook at one speed. I can't. It physically pains me to listen to it at one speed. I have to listen to it at two. That's funny thing is, Kate would know. I was like sent her a video of it at two speed and I was like, this is normal for me. And then I slowed it down to one and it felt so slow. And that's just me. Like I personally I like read really fast because I can't slow down to read, because then if I that's the thing is with me being if I was a slow reader, I would get too bored and I wouldn't I'd have to reread a bunch of stuff over and over again if I read really slow. That's what I feel like that happens to me, versus you, who you read really slow so you can grab all those details, and you actually read at a normal pace that most people do, is at the one speed. You read very normally, and that's, you're able to comprehend stuff, and that's how you comprehend like the content and stuff. Whereas I need to like, just my pace is more fast because I think my brain, not that I have higher brain processing power, but my reading comprehension is just faster. I was always had a faster reading comprehension um as like a child and stuff. Whenever we did like those reading comprehension tests, I was always reading pretty fast. I think it actually sped up over the years. Especially coming to college, I've learned to read really fast for like reading like essays and stuff, and like reading a bunch of stuff. So it really is up to every single person. You can even read slower than times one speed. You can read between 1 and 2. You can read above 2. Like it really is up to you. And like, don't feel pressured with your TBR. And like, that's for me. Like I definitely really went wild with my TBR and what books I've read this month. I definitely didn't expect to read like Kingdom of the Wicked wasn't on my TBR, but I read that. The whole Shatter Me series, only Shatter Me was on, but I read the whole series. And then also another book was the 6th book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I didn't plan on reading that, but I just did. I'm more of like Kate, where I just go with the flow. Like, yes, I have a set TBR, but I also allow myself to stray from that TBR, but get most of it done, but stray from it a little as well.
and I think that goes to show you, like, you and I are very, very close, and our reading speed is very, very different and yet I don't measure myself up to you.
Yeah.
I don't say like, damn, Maggie read like 10 books. I only read 2. I need to speed it up. Like, no.
No.
I read how I read, and that's fine. And you read however many books you read, and that's perfectly fine. And look, our friendship is thriving. So
Yeah.
you don't read books without me.
Okay, that was only one
Fine, it's
book.
fine.
That was
It's
one book, okay? And that was because it was with my coworkers, and like I wanted to be friends with my coworkers, so I definitely like I had to make friends, okay? But it is really good. So I will wait. You got to read the first 2 books, and then I haven't read any of the novellas, so I will read the novellas with you. Because there's 2 novellas in the theory. But yeah, I definitely don't feel pressured with all your goals and stuff. I definitely am. The reason why I'm reading so much this month is so that I can like slow it down the next couple months, where I would read like our like 1 or 2 books other than our I really will have to slow it down with reading.
yeah,
So that's why I am taking in copious amounts of reading this month,
yeah,
kind of to get more of the basic ones out of the way.
yeah. And so, like, if you decide, you listeners decide that you don't want to keep a reading goal, perfect.
Yeah.
If you do, perfect. If you don't meet it, fine. And if you do, great. Like, your reading goal does not in any way make you lesser of a reader.
It doesn't, yeah,
If you even read, like, look, ebooks, audiobooks, physical books, library books, anything makes you a reader. The number of books also does not define you as a reader. You can read literally however many books you want to,
yeah,
however long it takes you, and you are still a reader.
yeah. No, I definitely like, one of my bosses said that like audiobooks don't count as reading. And I'm like, well, then what do audiobooks count as? And I'm like, okay, maybe you're not physically reading, but you're still listening to the story and you're still comprehending the story and stuff. Like, I definitely like read, like, listened to the whole Shattered Me series, but I still know everything that happened in it, and I still remember a lot of things that happened. But it is a big series. It is 6 books plus 4 novellas, so it is pretty hefty. So yeah, I don't remember every single detail, but I do remember a lot of it.
Like you would with any book
Yeah,
that you don't remember all of like the in between passing
yeah,
transition, but you remember key character moments, key plot moments, like you would any book. And that's why audiobook, they count, they
they
count.
they count. So we're kind of gonna end it here. Because I'm looking at my watch and it is 10:41 for me, which means it is 8:41 for Grace. Which is definitely later for me. I kind of don't know what I'm gonna do for the rest of the night, but I think I'm gonna listen to my audiobook. I'm listening to Holly Black's The Darkest Part of the Forest. I finished, if you saw on our Instagram, we both finished our current reads that we put up on Instagram. I finished the Guinevere Deception and you read Assassin Blade. Um, they were good books. I know Assassin's Blade made you cry. Guinevere Deception makes me want to read the next one. Because
That's also another one that I want to read because the cover just looks pretty.
the second book, The Camelot Betrayal, so beautiful and hardback, and I think I might grab it before I leave back to school.
You should. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then I'm gonna start The Princess Will Save You for our mini.
we have a mini admin group book club because we have a lot of books we want to read. So
And just a heads up for our podcast listeners, we are going to start doing bookly episodes. So there are going to be episodes that we do because we are going to be trying to pick up series and we do want to discuss certain books that we read. So we're going to be going through a couple series, maybe a couple standalones, and even some books by self-published authors so we can have them on as well. And every now and then we'll have a full spoiler episode of whatever book that we're doing that day. So we will let you guys know beforehand what book we're reading, so if you guys want to read it with us, and then when our episode
yeah,
releases you'll be able to take part in that discussion that we do, then we'll keep you guys updated on that. But that is going to be something that we start doing more often. We're going to try to get a couple of self-published authors on here to get like give them a little more sponsorship and um, a little more help with their books, because a lot of self-published authors out there are absolutely amazing, and we want to help encourage other authors out there too.
Yeah, and definitely to like get the behind the scenes of like our favorite books. So like if a Kennedy Fox ever wants to come on here, I'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely message them and be like, "Hi, you wanna hop on the trend?" But no, yeah, definitely like I think we're definitely planning one for A Court of Silver Flames. We're definitely doing one there. So that's gonna be a full spoiler one. We'll definitely like put spoiler warning in the title. It's gonna be a full spoilers, especially we're gonna do one for our These Violent Delights. I think we talked about doing one. And I think we'll have to do one for The Crown of Gilded Bones.
Definitely.
I don't know what other books we'll decide. We'll do the whole A Curse So Dark and Lonely series. I don't know what else. Do you have anything else before we head out?
Immediately in my mind, probably not.
No,
Um,
I don't have anything. Our next episode, special guest, for those who are listening to the very end, is gonna be Mosh Trash, which is Beth. She is a cosplayer on TikTok and on Instagram, and she does a lot of Sarah J. Moss book cosplays. Her very more popular ones are Feyre, Bryce Quinlan, Nesta. She does a Cassian one too. And then
and
she also
Manon.
Manon.
Thank you, Manon.
Manon. Is it Manon? Manon. Same thing.
Manon. Manon. It's not Manon. It's Manon.
It's Manon. Yeah, she does a really beautiful Manon. Like her Manon cosplay is like top tier, best Manon cosplay I've seen. She puts a lot of effort in. So, if you have any questions for her, we'll definitely post like a bookish cosplay questions up on our Instagram. So stay tuned for that for the next week. That will hopefully be going up next Friday. If not, I'll keep you updated for when that episode will go up. It might be pushed back a week depending on our schedules and stuff. Because I am going back to college, so I will be a lot more busier. So I mean, reading plus having a job plus full time at school plus writing a book is going to be really hard, but I definitely will probably just be getting like 6 hours of sleep every day, uh, which I think will be fine.
Okay, fine.
We'll be fine. Yeah. So
Um, yeah. So we will see you guys,
in the
or
next,
you'll
the
listen.
gals, guys, gays, and theys. We'll see you in the next episode with hopefully it's with Beth. And have a good day. I hope we see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.